anger over British Gas announcing bumper profits. Its owner, Centrica, says earnings are up 900%, surging profits, whilst energy customers have faced surging bills.
It's just a vast amount of profit. It feels quite unethical that the energy companies are making so much profits.
Also ahead, Prince Harry's showdown with The Sun. The High Court rules he can go to trial against the newspaper's publisher. Plus... say Sinead O'Connor was found unresponsive at her London home as the singer is hailed a one-off. The danger of e-scooters and the call to follow New York's safety standards. And relaxed, England get ready for the Great Danes in their next World Cup clash.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Nina Hossain.
Good afternoon. A year ago, British Gas announced its underlying earnings were £98 million. A year on, that figure has leapt to £969 million. The industry watchdog Ofgem says the 900% rise was a one-off because of changes to the price cap on household bills. But campaigners say the industry is broken, whilst Labour has accused the government of failing to act on the windfalls of war being pocketed by the oil and gas companies. Our political reporter Jasmine Cameron-Cheleshi has the details and the Prime Minister's response.
We've all felt it. The cost of running our businesses and heating our homes has gone up. But so too have the profits of British Gas, the UK's leading energy supplier. For jam maker Nicola, the surging cost of energy has left a bitter taste.
It seems really unfair. It's just a vast amount of profit. It feels quite unethical. We have to buy energy in order to run our business, and when I was setting up the latest contract for our energy, there wasn't really any choice in the market. We have to take what was offered, so they're basically getting to charge what they want.
In the first 6 months of the year, British Gas recorded profits of £969 million, compared to £98 million during the same period last year. Its owner, Centrica, reported £2.1 billion profit in the first half of this year, up from £1.3 billion in 2022. The regulator Ofgem said the profits are a one-off as suppliers recoup some of the genuine and significant costs and losses they incurred over recent years due to COVID and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And Centrica said profits will go towards increasing customer support and investing in energy security.
Hi.
On a visit to a housing development this morning, the Prime Minister insisted supporting households remained a priority.
I know that the number one challenge families are facing up and down the country is the cost of living, and in particular their energy bills. That's why I took a decision back when I was Chancellor to introduce a windfall tax on the energy companies. So we are now taxing these windfall profits of energy companies, and we're using that money to help us pay around half of a typical family's energy bill.
But Labour warns the government's windfall tax doesn't go far enough.
Where we see eye-watering excess profits by the gas and oil companies, profits that are being made off the back of ordinary people who, for all of us who are paying those huge bills in energy costs. These are windfall profits off the back of the war in Ukraine and the global energy prices going up.
The profits of energy firms may be a one-off, but that will be little comfort to those still struggling to make ends meet. Jasmine Cameron-Cheleshi, ITV News, Westminster.
Our political correspondent Sinead Khan joins me now from Westminster. These profits will be hard for some customers to accept.
Absolutely. If you're at home and you're paying significantly more for your energy bills than you have done for a number of years, this is going to raise eyebrows. It's not just British Gas. Scottish Power and EDF have also seen their profits increase, and the reasoning that's been given is the same throughout. As you heard in Jasmine's report, it is because of the pandemic, it's because of the war in Ukraine, it's because of there has been a period of time in which these companies have ultimately been making a lot less money, in some cases a loss, when it comes to supplying energy to people's homes, because the price of wholesale gas was significantly higher and a price cap was in place. During that period, it was consumers who were getting a slightly better end of the deal. You were paying a lot less than how much it was costing to actually provide that energy. Ofgem say the reason that we're seeing this period is because price caps have gone up, and this is a one-off. They are so adamant to emphasise that they are expecting profits to go back down very quickly after this. This is supposed to essentially compensate that period in which the companies weren't making as much. Ultimately, though, while people at home are paying significant amounts for their energy bills, this is going to be a significant concern, and I suspect in the run-up to a general election, all parties will be talking about how they intend to deal with it.
Shihab Khan, thank you very much. Prince Harry is set for a courtroom showdown with The Sun's publisher over claims it used illegal methods to gather information on him. Harry was also trying to sue the publisher over phone hacking claims, but a judge at the High Court dismissed this. Our correspondent Rebecca Barry has been following the case from the start and joins me now. Rebecca, a partial victory for both sides, they're claiming.
Yeah, it very much depends which side you speak to, but in the words of the judge himself today, success is evenly balanced. Prince Harry's legal action against News Group newspapers can now proceed to trial, but some elements of his claim have been struck out. Prince Harry accuses journalists at The Sun and the News of the World of using deception to blag his private information, things like his itemised phone bills and medical records, and of paying private investigators to carry out unlawful information gathering. The judge said that those allegations require careful, fact-sensitive analysis and should be determined at a full trial. But Prince Harry's claim for damages for phone hacking cannot proceed to trial. They've been struck out because the judge says that claim has been brought too late. There's a 6-year time limit for bringing these sort of civil claims. Prince Harry had claimed that there was a secret agreement between Buckingham Palace and News Group newspapers in which members of the royal family would hold off bringing any legal action on the promise they'd eventually get an apology. Prince Harry says that's why he couldn't bring the claim any sooner. But today the judge said that that explanation had not passed the threshold for cogency and plausibility. He said the problem with the Duke's case is that there is nothing other than his rather vague and limited evidence to support it. Now, News Group newspapers are describing this as a significant victory, saying that it substantially reduces the scope of his legal claim. But this is far from over. In either January or in the following year, Prince Harry is now set to be at this court for a trial in which he accuses the Sun newspaper of serious illegal activity.
Rebecca Barry, thank you. As parts of the world still struggle to contain wildfires, there's a new warning from scientists about where our climate is heading, and it's stark. The Met Office says last summer's extreme heat here is a sign of things to come. It predicts temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius will be typical in the UK in less than 40 years from now. And by the end of the century, 40 degrees would be considered cool. Charlie Frost takes us through the findings.
From heavy rain and devastating floods to houses crumbling into the sea, from coastal erosion and wildfires ripping through homes, 2022 was a year of extremes in the UK. So much so, the Met Office's State of the UK Climate Report has described it as extraordinary. 2022's temperatures were record-breaking, the July heatwave pushing the mercury over 40 degrees Celsius for the first time. Top daily temperatures were seen in Lincolnshire, Northamptonshire and Heathrow. And apart from December, every month last year was warmer than the average over the past 3 decades. But according to the report, this is just a sign of things to come. Scientists say 2022 will be considered a cool year by the end of the century, and they found human-induced climate change is playing a key role. The report says hot years like 2022 will be the average by 2060 if carbon emissions continue as expected. This summer, it's Southern Europe, North Africa and the United States that's bearing the brunt of the heat as the world tries to navigate intensifying temperatures. And there's a clear global consensus that carbon emissions do need to be reduced. But scientists have warned that the pace has to be stepped up, both here and across the world, to avoid what we would consider extreme from becoming the new normal.
Charlie Frost there. Still to come this lunchtime, out of control crime at the Co-op. The supermarket fed up of shoplifters and antisocial behaviour. First, formidable in her talent and ferocious in her views. More details were announced today into Sinead O'Connor's sudden death. The Metropolitan Police said the Irish star was found unresponsive at her home in London yesterday morning and pronounced dead at the scene. As so many have said, nothing did compare to her. Faye Barker on an unmatched talent and trailblazer.
That propelled Sinead O'Connor to fame and one that never left her. But the 1990 hit didn't define her. Irish musician once said it was a shock to be a pop star. Known for her activism, she was never afraid to speak out.
Fight the real enemy.
This moment on American TV in protest of the Catholic Church consequently led to a backlash. In recent weeks, the Irish musician wrote on Facebook that she'd returned to London and was very happy to be home, saying she was finishing a new album and wrote of plans to tour from the end of next year. But she'd also told of her heartbreak at the death of her son Shane, who took his own life last year at the age of 17. She leaves 3 other children.
Thank you for seeing.
Over her career, the Grammy Award-winning artist released 10 albums and in 2018 converted to Islam. In tribute to her, musician Yusuf Islam, also known as Cat Stevens, said, "Sad to hear of the passing of Sister Shahada Sadiqat, also known as Sinead O'Connor. She was a tender soul." Irish band The Cranberries said, "We have all been big fans for many years. Our thoughts are with her family." And actor Russell Crowe, reflecting on a chance meeting with her last year, said, "I had the opportunity to tell her she was a hero of mine." Artists at a Mercury Prize event today also spoke of her impact.
Sinead O'Connor, I think, was absolutely influential for everybody in the country of Ireland. Like, no matter what genre of music you're into, no matter where you're from.
I think when you think about women in music, Sinead was such a trailblazer. She was provocative, unapologetically honest.
Sinead O'Connor's passing at the age of 56 leaves a hole in the music world. Hers the powerful and passionate voice of an activist and an artist. Faye Barker, ITV News.
The supermarket chain, the Co-op, says crime at its stores is out of control. So much so, it's released CCTV videos showing shocking attacks on staff. In the first 6 months of this year, there were nearly 1,000 thefts or violent incidents in its shops every day. One was looted 3 times in one day. Our North of England reporter Amy Welsh sent this report from a Co-op in Salford.
Well, CCTV cameras like this one are now a familiar sight at Co-ops up and down the country where there has been a huge spike in shoplifting. They are now dealing with around 1,000 incidents every single day. And CCTV footage shows looters barging their way into stores and attacking staff as they target the tills, medicine counters and alcohol. The Co-op say they have seen a third more cases of physical assaults and that the number of verbal assaults has risen by a fifth, and yet the police are failing to respond to around 71% of crimes that they report. Well, Kate Graham is the operations director and told me that she feels that the police need to do more.
The biggest challenge is that we're just not getting the support that we need, and we can spend, and we have spent over £200 million investing in ensuring that we can keep our colleagues as safe and secure as possible. But actually, without police support, we're not getting what we need.
Well, at this store, they've even had to resort to locking their stakes up in security boxes to act as a deterrent to thieves. There are CCTV cameras above the aisles and at the tills, and staff are also wearing body cameras. But it's not just the co-op that is affected by this. John Lewis say they have seen a 26% rise in cases of shoplifting, which they blame on the cost of living crisis. Well, we have received a statement from the National Police Chiefs Council in which they say they do take incidents of violent crime seriously, but in some cases there may not be enough information for police to act upon or bring about criminal proceedings. For these types of offences, police focus on targeting prolific offenders, organised crime networks and ensuring effective preventative measures are in place. But of course, for stores like this, where staff are living in fear, criminals need to know that there will be serious consequences if they are to be deterred.
Amy Welsh reporting. A man who shot dead a custody sergeant while handcuffed in a police cell has been handed a whole life sentence. Gun fanatic Louis de Souza was convicted of murder last month after jurors were shown CCTV footage of the 26-year-old using a legally bought revolver to shoot Sergeant Matt Ratana. And Transport for London and a tram company have been fined a total of £14 million over the Croydon derailment, which killed 7 passengers. Many more people were injured when a tram carrying 69 people derailed in 2016. Transport for London and the Tram Operations Limited have accepted failings in their health and safety duties. Electric bikes and scooters are becoming an ever more common sight on our streets, but as their numbers increase, so too does the risk of something like this happening. This was the terrifying moment an e-bike battery burst into flames in West London in May. Now a charity, Electrical Safety First, is urging the government to regulate e-bike and e-scooter batteries like fireworks. They want manufacturers to have their batteries approved by an accredited third party after a similar safety measure was brought in New York. Our reporter Anne O'Connor has been in Lancaster, where a scooter exploded in the middle of the night at a family home.
Well, it's pretty obvious why Andrew Beaton, his wife and 3 kids can't live in their home in Lancaster anymore. The fire damage is clear. He's here to tell us what happened. Andrew, it was caused by an electric bike?
Yeah, I bought an electric bike for my 11-year-old son and we left it on charge overnight and this is the result of it. Devastation.
Everything's destroyed, isn't it?
Everything's gone, not a thing. We come out with a pair of underpants.
Where did the fire start? In the hallway?
Just under here, just where the green door is. Just at the back of there's the stairs, and when it was plugged in under the stairs.
Middle of the night, it must have been terrifying.
It was only for my son getting up at 1:30 in the morning for a drink that was still here.
And he alerted you to it?
Yeah.
How do you feel now? How angry are you?
It's devastated, isn't it? We've lost everything. Everything. It's not only the possessions, it's the damage, the children, you know what I mean, the kids and that. They're
really upset, really unable to sleep.
Unable to sleep. They're on tablets now from doctors. They won't go upstairs and sleep.
This was a present for your 11-year-old son.
It was, yeah. It was. You think when you're buying stuff like this, you're going to be safe, but.
How do you feel about the result?
Devastated, devastated. It's just we need to get stuff like this regulated quickly, otherwise there's going to be a lot more happening.
So you support this campaign
definitely,
by Electrical Safety First?
Yeah, definitely. Should have been done a lot. If you're buying stuff and it's coming into this country, it should be regulated.
Well, Andrew's a great example of what happens. He won't be allowed back into this house for another 3 or 4 months.
Anne O'Connor reporting. The Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson has completed his controversial move to the Saudi Arabian side, Al Ettifaq, for £12 million. Henderson, who is 33, leaves the club after 12 years at Anfield, at which he won every major trophy. He's expected to earn wages of up to £700,000 a week under manager Steven Gerrard. The Saudi Pro League club welcomed him, saying he was a leader, a warrior. Henderson's move to a country where homosexuality is punishable by death is controversial due to his alliance with LGBT plus groups and the Premier League's Rainbow Laces campaign. Finally, England face their toughest opponents yet tomorrow in the World Cup. The squad is fully fit for its second group match against Denmark. England's manager says she wants her players to show ruthlessness. Denmark's described England as a superpower. No pressure. Here's Amy Lewis.
If they are feeling under pressure, they are certainly not showing it. The Lionesses might not have got off to a stellar start, but they are confident they will shine in Sydney. They're on maximum points, along with tomorrow's opposition, Denmark.
I'm not sure if it's the strongest. I think we approach every game by game. I think Haiti was a tough game, and I think Denmark tomorrow is not going to be easy again. But what we hope is to show our style of play, and hopefully we'll be on the ball a lot and show who we are.
Fretting about a lack of goals.
It's not always about scoring 7 goals or winning 7-3, 7-1, 4-1. If you have enough to win the game, that's the most important. And the performances are there. I think in moments in games you see really good performances by individuals and the collective team as well.
The Lionesses know a win will all but secure a place in the last 16 of the tournament. But Denmark pose their toughest challenge yet. Amy Lewis, ITV News.
That's all we've got time for so far today. Mary's here with all the latest at 6:30 from me and all the team today. Bye-bye.
A cold start, with a snow shower spreading quickly across the east. Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
A very good afternoon to you. For many of us feeling muggy and humid out there today after yesterday's rain, a lot of moisture left in the air with a good deal of cloud for many before better, brighter conditions return tomorrow. This is the earlier satellite and radar picture, an awful lot of grey sky with the best of the brightness across parts of the Pennines into Wales and the Midlands. A few rogue showers across parts of eastern England there, but much of the action to the top and tail end of the country. Some patchy rain and drizzle across central and northern Scotland, a bit of a breeze around North Sea coasts, and a little showery rain sliding through the south and the southeast. Here too, quite breezy around the coastlines. Highs of 22 or 23 degrees, even with the cloud cover, giving that muggy feel. Some late and low sunshine before dusk for the luckier ones further east and further south. And then tonight, a fresher night for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Otherwise, quite mild and muggy, not slipping much below 16 or 17 degrees into the small hours.
Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.